This is One Sentence News, a daily podcast featuring 3 news stories with a sentence-long summary and 1 sentence of context apiece. I'm Colin Wright. It's Friday, February 11th, 2022. Let's talk about the news. From Axios, Congress passes landmark Me Too bill. Just days after passage in the House on Monday, the U.S. Senate passed a piece of workplace legislation that forbids the use of forced arbitration to resolve cases of alleged sexual harassment and assault. This was a rare piece of legislation in that it received bipartisan support in both House and Senate, and it basically disallows the common practice of forcing victims of harassment and assault in workplaces to engage in a secretive, behind-the-scenes resolution process that is generally seen as favoring the needs and reputation of the company, in some cases to the point where it allows victimizers to become repeat victimizers, because none of the allegations ever become public. So this legislation should allow more people to go to actual court and at the very least speak publicly about their experiences when it comes to these sorts of cases. From Bloomberg, SpaceX says dozens of satellites destroyed in geomagnetic storm. An estimated 40 out of 49 recently launched Starlink satellites are thought to have been impacted by the effects of a geomagnetic storm, which dramatically increased the amount of friction they faced and ultimately sent them into orbits that have already, or will soon, lead to their burning up in Earth's atmosphere. Geomagnetic storms are a natural phenomena caused by solar flares, which temporarily cause fluctuations in Earth's magnetosphere, which is a giant magnetic field that surrounds the Earth. In this case, these smallish satellites were launched into a relatively close-to-Earth orbit. The magnetosphere went haywire because of a solar flare, and that produced additional drag, which kept most of the recently launched satellites from coming out of a safe mode they used to protect themselves from the storm, which in turn prevented them from moving into a higher, further from Earth orbit, hence their impending or recent fiery deaths in the atmosphere. And from The Verge, WarnerMedia and Discovery get U.S. government approval to create their new media giant. U.S. antitrust agencies have given the go-ahead for a merger between Discovery and WarnerMedia, which clears the way for the creation of one of the biggest media conglomerates in the world. It wasn't clear that this deal would be approved, as a lot of antitrust regulations are being hardened right now, and regulatory bodies are putting their feet down, with larger would-be mergers in particular. But in this case, it looks like they got clearance. So now WarnerMedia, which was recently spun off from AT&T and which owns Warner Brothers, HBO, DC Entertainment, Cartoon Network, half of the CW TV network, and many other platforms and intellectual portfolio properties, will merge with Discovery, which owns the Discovery Channel, Animal Planet, TLC, the Food Network, HGTV, and the Travel Channel, among others. The new merged entity will be called Warner Brothers Discovery, and the final step is a vote by Discovery shareholders, and it's expected they'll approve. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com, and you can support this and other related projects, like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts, at understandery.com.